Now we review a movie about Richard's sister's intergluteal cleft, The Gorge. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I am Richard, this is my channel, and I have seen the Apple TV film, The Gorge. I really wanted to see The Gorge, and through the generosity of my friends, I got to see The Gorge. Anyway, so that dude, I'm pretty sure it's that dude that played Rooster in the latest Top Gun movie, is showing off his abs in this particular movie as a sniper who's damaged, one of the best snipers who ever lived, and he's out there apparently being tasked spending 1 year on dipstick duty guarding a gorge. And across the gorge is another sniper sent by the Second World, played by Anya Taylor-Joy. And of course, this sniper has a great hiney. And so these two snipers are guarding this gorge, but the gorge is full of questions. And also guarding the gorge are satellite photos that are satellite blocking devices, miniguns, explosives, and all kinds of booby traps that keep whatever is in the gorge in the gorge. So it's basically what we would need to keep my sister's hemorrhoids inside her rear end. That is what is guarding this gorge. And of course, who is maintaining it? Two frickin' people. Oh. Look, I love cheesy sci-fi. So I can try to suspend my disbelief for a movie like this. The problem with suspending your disbelief for a movie like this is that you've got these two people guarding this huge thing, and it takes a ridiculous amount of technology, and it's like, who put all that stuff there? Who built all those things to protect the gorge? Because it takes more than two people to maintain that stuff. I mean, it's just, that's how it is. And even then, you know, it would be cheaper just to build a top for the gorge and drop it on top than it would be to build all these machines and maintain them. So, I mean, basically what you have here is a live-action video game. And people have said that this suffers from tonal inconsistencies. And yeah, I mean, it's a live-action video game, and video games tend to have tonal inconsistencies. There's a love story that's kind of neither here nor there, but it serves as the through line. It's like Lonely Dude, what he really needs is a hyena. And so, this is a hyena with a great hiney. And I mean, could have seen more of that hiney. We saw enough of the dude, but not a lot of the chick. So I guess she's the bigger actor in this one. And it's just dumb that they're doing this, because what really should have happened is that there should have been a mission for them to go into the gorge and do something, which would have cut away all of the minutia and detritus and gotten right to the heart of what this was, which essentially is a dungeon crawl. I mean, we're in this thing, we have a ticking clock, we've got to get out, and this is what we have to do. And here's a level where you're going up the thingy, and you have to defend your point while the monsters are coming at you, and that's what this is. It's a video game with various levels, and there's a laboratory level, and there's a church level, and there's a hold your ground level, and there's a climbing level, and that's I think that you could even say there was an underground level or an underwater level. And that's just what this was. It was a video game. Would have made a pretty good video game, I'll admit, but it's a dumb video game because, you're expending elite personnel to do this thing, and I mean, I don't want to give it away because it is a reveal, but whatever it is they're trying to do in the gorge, they've pretty much already created. I mean, it's Los Plagas. It's Resident Evil monsters, sort of a thing. It's not quite the same thing, but it's pretty much the same thing. that's what this movie is. And it would have been an even better movie if this was just some kind of a psychological test. And, that had been the movie. Like, if it had been, we just wanted to find out if this dude could crack under pressure because we have a really important mission for him, that would have been a much better movie than this. Because this movie, it doesn't, this world still exists, and whatever technology was used to make it still exists, so you could have a sequel. And they're not really sequel baiting. It has a Batman ending, the Batman Cafe ending that everybody hates so much. So I guess the chick is Alfred. But you look at this movie, and it's kind of a mess. And it's low-budget shows, and the fact that they used heavy amounts of CGI shows. And it's like, yeah, look, I get it. This is a low-production value movie, and it really wasn't made for the big screen, although it's better to see it in the dark, So, I actually had to say, hey, turn up the sound, I can't hear, once or twice during this film. So there's a lot of negatives about this film. But do understand that this is kind of a death by 1,000 cuts situation, and it only got 900 cuts. So, I don't think it's a bad movie for what it is. It's just not a good movie for what it should be. And yeah, there's a lot of push to get this to feature length. There are a lot of things they had to put in there. And the character list is particularly small. They got a lot of big names to appear for short periods of time. And the real star of this film is the CGI. So this is very much a third-generation blockbuster type of a film. And it had body horror elements, which I loved. Okay, it was like watching somebody play a Resident Evil game. And I've done that, and I've enjoyed it. So those particular things are fine for this movie. Although I have to say, this being a hard R movie, and there being romance involved, don't get a big name star for this. Get somebody who's willing to go naked. Let's see some booty, because that's what this film is about. It's an exploitation film, and I want to have a good time, see some booty, and then be done with it. And it's one of these things about this film, this particular type of film. What you're dealing with is mirror neurons. You see this dude making out with Taylor Joy there, and you're like, kind of making out with her yourself. So you need to get an actress that will fulfill that fantasy. And whereas she's perfectly capable of fulfilling that fantasy, she didn't. I came away from this thinking, wow, she's an attractive woman, but I'm not looking up more pictures of her going, hey, can I see more of her films? And I have done that. Look, I have popped in movies, cheesy science fiction movies, and seen hot chicks in them and been like, okay, I'm going to go look up more of this woman, There was an actress named Stormy Maya. She shows a lot of skin in her films, and I'm a fan. She makes some pretty solid productions in terms of cheesy, low-tier sci-fi. So, that's what I come for. So, this is not a film for your inner 14-year-old. It's a film for your inner 10-year-old, because it's what your parents might let you watch, except for the fact that the body horror of it is far more advanced. And I personally think they should lean into the body horror more and have more of an explanation of body horror and how the concepts that are at play work. Because this is not a film that's going to give you a lot of solid answers. It's a film that's going to give you that, okay, we explained it, now let's get back to the CGI slugfest. So, this falls in the middle of your watch list. If you're a fan of cheesy science fiction, it is a solid enough film, but it is very, oatmeal with raisins. It's not wonderful. It's better than just trash, but it needs more. It needs cinnamon and peanut butter to flesh it out. It needs a dollop of yogurt to give it more pizzazz. It needs more flavor. It's very bland. So, yeah, it's middle to lower middle of your watch list. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I realize I'm not the world. Everybody's hating on this film, and it's deserving the hate it's getting. It's a cheesy CGI slugfest with name actors to hope to bring eyes onto the project, and that's all it is. So yeah, lower middle to lower middle of your watch list. Not a terrible film, not a waste of time, but certainly a film that, well, it's just not going to do much for you. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear yours. Comments below. I'm Richard. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Fred the Facehugger, and I'd like to point out that this world isn't a nice place. But you know who's trying to make it a nice place? The owner of this channel, yes. The owner of this channel does things like pay for ocean cleanup, and have trees planted, and even feed orphans in an orphanage in Mexico. Yes, it's a real thing, I'm not kidding. I may be a face-hugging alien from a horror movie, but I'm not a liar. Anyway, when you comment, like, and subscribe, you're supporting that better world, and whereas it may not make a big difference, it may be the difference between one more tree planted, one more pound of trash out of the ocean, or one child not going hungry tonight. So, think about it. Shouldn't you comment? Shouldn't you like? Shouldn't you subscribe? I certainly would if I were you. I'm Fred.